Hi, I'm Sara and welcome to What's on Tap. This month we got to sit down with one of my favorite people, Pera, the owner and operator at Cornerstone Coffeehouse. I've known you for a long time, but I don't know, are you and Al from the area originally?
You know, we both are. I grew up in Camp Hill, maybe 2 blocks from the Cornerstone Coffeehouse.
Oh, nice.
My first date was on this very site. I'm not kidding. The Hill Theater used to reside right where Cornerstone is.
You have a picture out in the,
I do?
in the coffee shop,
Yeah,
right?
we do. Yeah, somebody actually from the Historical Society loaned us that forever.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so my first date was here, right here where I'm at. I never aspired to own a business here, but I certainly am so happy to be here.
So how did you guys take on deciding to own a coffee shop?
You know, before we owned the coffee shop, we owned Breads and Cheese of Hershey for almost 10 years. I owned it until '99. So I had always had a keen interest in owning my own business, in particular anything to do with food and beverage. And so when I bought Breads and Cheese of Hershey, it gave me the skill set I needed really to continue on with Cornerstone. So when we sold Breads and Cheese, I was sort of, I guess for about 6 or 8 months, sort of wandering the streets like, oh my God, I can't take a real job, but what am I gonna do? And so somehow or another, this just sort of fell into my lap. The 2 women who started Cornerstone were selling, and I was happy to be there at the right time, at the right moment.
What are the things that are most important to you about, integrating community into the coffee house?
When we bought Cornerstone, we lived in Mount Gretna, and we were very involved with the community there. I was, president of the Arts Council. I was truly involved. When we bought Cornerstone, I felt more, like I needed to be here. I needed to be closer because I just felt like I needed to do more here. So Al and I, about 10 years ago, chose to leave Mount Gretna and move closer to the business. We're about 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes from here. And since that time, I've been involved with economic development for the region with Cretic, but I'm also very involved with economic development for Camp Hill. I was chair of our economic development group and have also been co-chair of some of the arts festivals that we do in downtown Camp Hill. I find not just being involved in those committees and trying to get Camp Hill to be a more vibrant, active community. I also find myself being taken aback by the stories that I hear and the people who come in here who truly move me for what they do and who they are and some of the life stories they tell me. So I almost weekly, several times a week, have people thanking me for having a place that they can come, and I'm happy that
That's wonderful.
they come.
You make a point to feature a lot of local artists, both on the walls, musicians. What are the difficulties and the positives to that? Like, I'm sure that there's a balance in trying to manage so many different people all of the time.
For so long, for 14 of my almost 15 years here, it was me. And I recently have someone who's worked with me for a long time is now become the general manager who has really taken over those duties from me and actually has taken it further and better. For instance, the artists. We have a monthly artist here, and we've been doing that for years. I mean, since I started here, it was already here. Darren, my general manager, has taken it beyond that. She's now offering artist receptions every month that we have for them. She's taken over the music so that, we have our schedule filled up. It's usually filled up for months at a time. We're now doing a poetry night here once a month. And we have people involved in it that are very good at creating and energizing the poetry night here. Along with, we're going to start open mic night.
Oh, wonderful.
So anyway, I never stop thinking, but I have people that help me take my thoughts and create them even better than what I could do.
You and Al are both friendly faces that people know and recognize in the shop all the time. I've been here many times, and you pop in, and everyone's like, "Oh, Sue," come say hi to me. So, how do you guys balance work and life?
I've gotten, I'm not a pat on my back, but I've gotten really great at hiring the people that I want to have surround me in my business. And those people make it really simple for me and for Al to be able to up and leave at any time. I never feel anymore like I have to be there because I have this great staff that constantly is moving, doing the right things for Al and I. And I feel so fortunate that we have them to do that. If anybody out there is listening to this and wants a job here, I always say in my job interviews, if you are late 3 times, you're fired. And I would have been fired.
Oh.
I would have been fired, but I mean, that's sort of my motto here, is you gotta work.
Yep. I'd make up for it. I'd stay late. So we're actually sitting in the Culinary Kitchen, which is in the back portion of the coffee shop. So how long has this been going on now? It's been many years that you've had this.
Many years. Isn't it lovely?
I think it is lovely. I very much enjoy it here. I've been to several classes.
Thanks. Yay.
Where'd the idea come from?
The person who owned this building asked us if we wanted to buy it. And so we jumped at that opportunity to buy it. But we knew if we were buying it that we'd have to figure out how to do more than just sell coffee. And so we took on this project with my husband's idea of opening a private room, which would be a cooking school. Here we are 9 years later, and Chuck Laporta is still our executive chef and doing all the cooking classes and almost all of the private parties back here.
Oh, wow.
He's integral to our success. At the time, I naively just thought it would be a cooking school, but realized that, people need places for meetings and breakfasts, and then we expanded more into our catering, also where we cater lunches back here. We do almost every weekend, we're doing a bridal shower, a baby shower. So we do a variety of things in this room now. It's great.
So what portion of your business then does this take up versus the coffee shop itself?
It's about 20% of what we're doing. So it's significant for us to have this portion of the business back here.
I know that some owners do prefer to be more behind the scenes, but you and Al are very much the face of your shop. So, and I'm sure there are benefits and pluses and negatives to both things. So, what are some of the benefits that you see from that?
Oh, I see so many benefits from being out front. One of the things that I hear so often from people is, it's so great to see you and Al up front. It makes us feel really comfortable and really good about it. I've seen people who have actually owned businesses who are great chefs, great cooks, whatever it is that they're doing, but they stay in the back, they don't come up front. And I think so much part of an ambiance of any food establishment should definitely have a face there. So it comes naturally to both Al and I. Al, you'll see out there more often, usually walking around with this cup of coffee, just walking around talking to people, because he doesn't do as much as I do. but I try to get out. He might storm in here. What are you talking about? I just recently hired a general manager, and so I find that she is yearning to learn those things from me, and I'm imparting some of that knowledge so she can do it. She can be the hands-on person to do it, because I really find it so important for me as the owner to be up front. I think I need to be there, not because my employees aren't doing a great job. I think customers like to know that there is a face behind Cornerstone Coffeehouse.
What are the tips to being a good coffee ordering customer?
Oh, Don't be on your cell phone, okay? That's
Yeah.
number one. I mean,
Yeah.
people will come in here and the kids will come back, the staff will come back and say, can you believe that? They made this whole line wait while they were completing a phone call. So we always say, it's okay when they come up and they're not quite sure what to get,
Yeah.
because we can help guide them through. The staff is great at that. But when they come up with a phone in their hand and in their ear and they're talking to somebody and asking, just wait a second, to us.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. It's great. It's beautiful. We talk about them in the kitchen.
Where do most of your customers come from? Do you find that they live locally, or are they coming from the East Shore, here on business? What is typical?
We find, obviously, that most people who live on the West Shore in this, regional community over here in Cumberland, Perry County, typically that's where my clientele comes from. But I have to say, in regards to our business clients, we get many people who come here for business meetings, to meet up with somebody for lunch, that are from the East Shore. I mean, and they'll come up and say, can you believe I crossed the river today? When I bought this business after having owned Breads and Cheese, I thought I'd get my customers from Hershey.
Too far.
Oh my gosh, that's like across
It's like an
the
ocean.
state.
Yeah.
People would say to me, the first time I really heard it was when we bought this business, is people would actually say to me, we needed a visa to cross the river today. Like it was such a big deal. So it's great. I'm so happy and fortunate that we do get a lot of crossover. And of course, there's some great coffee houses that are open and have opened up in the Harrisburg area, in Harrisburg itself. So, and they also feel as though it's a community place for them to go to. So I think it's wonderful, but I'm grateful when people do cross that river to come over here.
Well, Sue, thank you so much for joining us today. Had a great time.
Thanks.
And good luck to you. Cheers.
Oh, cheers. Thanks a lot, Sarah. That was fun. Sure.
I haven't quite asked that, but
Yep,
maybe just
because
say
we
something
carry
about,
it.
Can you tell me a little bit about the variety of your beans?
Yeah. Good night. Your beans.
Tell me about your beans. No,